Okay, we're going to start today with the study guide, Chapter 1, Algebra 2, Part 2. We're going to start with number 16. It asks you to find the absolute value of the sum of 18 and 20. Compare it with the absolute value of negative 5 minus 2. What do we get for this? 38. And then when you take the absolute value, it's 38. What do we get here? Negative 7, and its absolute value is 7. So that's our symbol. 17, the square root of 3 and the square root of 7. So I want to know which is larger. Square root of 7. 18, negative absolute value of negative 16 and absolute value of 5. So this is 16, but then the negative that's on the outside causes it to be negative 16. This is 5 greater than. Find the opposite and reciprocal of 19. What is the opposite? And what is the reciprocal? 20. Evaluate 5a plus 5b. A is negative 6. B is negative 5. Negative 55. 21. Absolute value of 4b minus 4 plus absolute value of 3 minus b squared plus 2b cubed. So when you plug b in, what are you going to get here? 4 times 2 minus 4 plus 3 minus 2 squared plus 2 times 2 cubed. 8 minus 4 is 4, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. This is 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. Absolute value of that is 1. 2 cubed is 8 times 2 is 16. So for 21, when you add those together, what are you going to get for an answer? 21. Questions so far?
So you exponent 4, you do the calculations, so you simplify inside the parentheses, then you do the parentheses.
Yes. Simplify inside the absolute value bars, and when you get it down to one number, you take the absolute value. Okay. 22. Combining like terms. What do we get here? 23. How are you going to simplify this? Okay. 24. Find the perimeter. We'll put this over here. Find the perimeter here. So you're going to add all these together. X plus y plus 2x plus y plus 2x plus x plus 4x. So let's go back and collect like terms. X, 2 of them, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did y'all get 10x? Plus 2y. Okay, 25. Solve the equation. 3y plus 20 equals 3 plus 2y. What's your first step here? Oh, you subtracted 3. Okay. So you got 3y plus 17 is 2y. Okay, good. And then
divide by
negative 17. 26. What's different about 26? Do you distribute in 26?
oh, that's right.
You do not distribute across absolute value bars. No, no, no. You isolate absolute value bars and then it splits into two problems. So, what's the first step here?
So, I guess you want to add 7.
Mm-hmm. And then? Now, what's the question you ask yourself now? Stuff in the absolute value bars must be what? Equal to or negative 4. So, solve those little equations. 0. Or negative 8/3. Questions on 26?
I was going to go. No. Okay. So I suppose you look at the first one. So I suppose you okay.
Okay, 27, solve for t. What do you do to isolate the t here? You don't like those, do you? Nobody does.
I hate them with passion.
What is in the wrong spot? If I want t all by itself,
The 5R squared.
the 5r squared. What is 5r squared doing with the t?
To multiply it.
So what do we do to...
Divide by.
There you go. So t is equal to s over 5r squared. (28) The formula for the time that a traffic light remains yellow is t equals 1/8 of a second plus 1, where t is the time in seconds and s is the speed in miles per hour. Solve for s. So t equals 1/8 s plus 1. Solve for s. So what do you do to solve for s? This one's different. It's got more stuff going on. What is it that you need to get rid of?
So T equals 1, that's one. I get rid of
The 1. So how are we going to do that?
1. Subtract it.
Okay. Okay. Next,
Divide 1 over 8. That means multiply by 8.
multiply both sides by 8. Which means I'm going to put that in parentheses. That's going to cancel. S is going to equal 8 times t minus 1. Okay? Everybody okay with that part?
Why don't you put it in parentheses? Just because.
Because I have to multiply everything on that side by that. And if I didn't, I would probably end up having 8t minus 1 when it should be 8t minus 8. What is the speed limit at a traffic light that remains yellow for 4.5 seconds? So what do we do
Is
here?
that the end of the answer? 8, 2 minus 1.
That's A. Yes. B. What is the speed when the light remains yellow for 4.5 seconds? How do you find that? Tom?
Put the 4.5 as t.
Okay. So could you do this? Okay. And what do you get? 8 times 3 is 24. And then half of 8 is 4. So it's going to be 28 miles per hour.
8 times 3.5, so 8 times 3.5 is 28 miles an hour.
$29. It says the sides of the triangle are in the ratio 3, 4, 5. What is the length of each side if the perimeter is 90? So you got a triangle. The sides are not 3, 4, and 5, but their ratio is 3 to 4 to 5, which means that there's some kind of common multiplier with the 3, the 4, the 5. So 3x, 4x, and 5x. What do you do to construct the problem?
I added 3 plus 4x plus 5x, making it 12x.
And it's equal to, what's the story tell us? 90. And you said it's 12x.
We really need to study more CBA.
I got x equals 7.5.
Okay. X is 7.5. So now you have to go back and find the length of each side. 3 times 7.5. 4 times 7.5. 5 times 7.5. So what'd you get, Braden?
7.5 is 22.5.
Okay.
4 is 30. And 5 is 37.5.
All right. Good job. Two cars leave Denver at the same time and travel in opposite directions. One car
Are you recording this? Good.
One car travels 10 miles an hour faster than the other. They're 500 miles apart in 5 hours. So I know that rate, time, and distance. Car 1, car 2. Organize your data. Tell me about car 1. What is something you know about car 1?
Times
10 miles faster. So if I put X for car 2's rate, what would I write for car 1's rate? X plus 10. Tell me about the time.
How do you know? So you just kind of pick whichever car.
I could have done it the other way around,
So
and it'd been perfect.
Car 1 under x, car 2 under x plus 10.
Not going to matter there. Both of them are 5 hours. Now, what do you do with rate and time to determine your distance?
Rate times time is distance.
Okay. So if I multiply X plus 10 times 5,
5x plus 50.
5x. Now, what do you know about these distances? Here's Denver. Here's one car. Here's the other car. How far? It says at 5 hours, this distance is how much? 500 miles. So what does that tell you? Because your job is to come up with an equation. Where does that lead you? What's 500 represent?
Distance.
The distance. The distance of the first car
Yes.
and the second car.
So 5x plus 10 plus 5x equals 500.
Yes. And we solve.
Plus 50 equals 5x.
Am I going too fast for y'all? Y'all know how to solve equations. I'm not going to waste your time by telling you every step when I know you know. What did you say?
I got 45.
Okay. So X is 45. So we go back up to our chart. What does that mean?
Car 2 is traveling 45 miles an hour.
And the other one?
Car 1 is 55.
55. Okay. 31. 2 plus 2k is less than or equal to 8.
Car 2
graph the solution set. So at 3, what kind of circle do you need?
Shaded.
And K's are less than. 32. Let's work on 32.
Turn it at 8, 9,
Okay.
I added
Okay.
divide by 8. I was gonna compare it to zero.
What kind of circle? And Y is,
Less than.
there you go. 33. What about that problem? We're going to solve this side. Okay, we got the word or in between. So, what does that tell you?
They're going to go in opposite directions.
That's what they're supposed to do. So, let's just deal with each one individually. What happens at -3?
X is less than.
And what happens at 5?
It's greater than 5.
Okay, any questions on that one? What about 34? 2x plus 10 in absolute value bars is less than 26. Well, it's an absolute value inequality, so we got to do some thinking. All right? First of all, which direction does the arrow point?
Points left. So it's going to be
And. So no, I'm going to have and in the middle. What do your two equations look like?
2x plus 10 is less than 2b.
26.
2x,
And I know it looks like a B, but it's really 26.
2x plus 10 is greater than negative 26.
Okay, so let's solve. So here's -18, here's 8. What happens at -18?
Well, it's going to be greater than negative 18, so
It really goes all the way that way, but we know it's going to be an in-between, so we're going to, what happens at 8?
less than.
35. Lynn and Dawn tossed a coin 60 times, got heads 33 times. What is the experimental probability of tossing heads using their results?
55%.
What was 34 again?
33 out of 60, which reduces to 11 out of 20, and yes, it would be 55%. 36. A spinner is numbered from 1 through 10, with each number equally likely to occur. What is the probability of obtaining a number less than 2 or greater than 7 in a single spin? How many numbers are less than 2? Just the one.
Just one.
How many are greater than 7?
8, 9, 10.
So how many numbers would be in my favorable outcome?
4 out of 10 or 2 out of 5.
Or 40%. 37.
There you go.
If a dart hits the target at random, what's the probability it'll land in the shaded region? Well, we don't even have a shaded region.
And sorry about that.
That's okay. Let's make this the shaded region.
I went 7 shaded.
Huh?
I went 7 shaded.
It's okay. We're going to work it this way. How do you find that out? What's the, first of all, you need the area of the shaded region over the area of the total. How are you going to find the total area? Pi r squared. And for total, what radius do you use? 12.
So, times 1.4.
Let's just call it 144 pi for right this minute, okay? What's the area of the shaded region?
Subtracted from pi times r squared.
Shaded region is total minus pi times 3 squared, right? So it's 144 pi minus 9 pi, which is how many pi?
Which makes it 135 pi.
Okay. So what is the probability that the dart will land in the shaded region?
94%.
135 pi over 144 pi. What happens to the pi's? They cancel. So it's 135 over 144. What did you say the percentage was?
94%.
94%.
94%.
Name the property used in each step of simplification. What did they do here? First step, what did they do? Distributive property. I'm on number 38. Are y'all on number 38? Okay, I'm going to do this. So the first one is the distributive property. What's the next step?
It's like just flipped around 6 6 and 5.
So that is the commutative property. We'll pick up here Monday.